Is your passion real? Or is it only a beautiful illusion? At some point in life, this quiet question begins to appear. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a small voice in the background of the mind. In the beginning, everything feels clear. There is a dream, a direction, a feeling that this might be the thing we were meant to do. But after some time, something begins to change. Progress is slower than expected. Results are uncertain. The world feels quiet, and a different voice appears. What if I chose the wrong path? What if I am not as talented as I thought? What if this passion was only a fantasy? If you have ever felt this way, you are not alone. Many philosophers and Zen teachers have described this exact moment. In Zen practice, there is a concept sometimes called the great doubt. It appears when a person begins to question everything: their path, their purpose, even themselves. But Zen teachers say this moment is not the end of the path. It is often the moment when the path becomes real. Because before doubt, we follow dreams easily. After doubt, we begin walking them consciously. So how can we tell whether a passion is genuine or just a beautiful story we told ourselves? There may not be a perfect answer, but there are a few simple questions that can help us see more clearly. The first question is this: would you still do it even if nobody noticed? Many passions feel exciting when people are watching, when there are views, likes, recognition. But silence reveals something deeper. Imagine doing the same work for months with very little response, almost no attention. Would you still feel the desire to continue? Not because someone is watching, but because something inside you still finds meaning in doing it. Many artists, writers, and creators spent years working in almost complete silence. Not because it was easy, but because the work itself still mattered to them. The second question is simple. Does it still matter after the excitement fades? At the beginning, passion feels like excitement. Ideas come quickly. Energy feels high. But excitement never lasts forever. After some time, what remains is the quiet part of the work. Practicing, learning slowly, improving small details, doing the same thing again and again. At that point, the real question becomes, not is this exciting, but does this still matter? Real passion often becomes quieter as time passes. Less excitement, more commitment. The third question comes from imagining the opposite. If you stop completely, would something inside feel missing? Imagine that tomorrow you decide to walk away. No more effort, no more work on this path. Life becomes simpler. But how would that feel? Relief or something else? Psychologists who studied people near the end of life found something interesting. Many people did not regret trying and failing. They regretted never trying at all. One of the most common regrets people express before death is this: I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Sometimes the clearest sign that something matters is imagining a life where it never existed. The fourth question is about adaptation. Are you willing to change the way you do it instead of abandoning it? Sometimes passion becomes difficult, not because the passion is wrong, but because the approach needs to change. Someone building a personal brand may begin by posting videos that receive very little attention. Instead of quitting, they experiment. They change their storytelling style. They change their audience. They change the platform. The passion remains, but the form evolves. A restaurant owner may discover that the first menu does not work. Customers do not respond. Instead of giving up, they refine the concept. They adjust the dishes. They improve the experience. A coffee shop owner may realize that what people love is not only the coffee, but the atmosphere, the music, the community. The business changes shape, but the dream survives. Illusions disappear when things become difficult, but real passions often adapt. The fifth question is the simplest one. Even during doubt, do you still feel a small desire to continue? Not excitement, just a quiet willingness to try again tomorrow. A writer may feel frustrated after finishing a difficult article, but the next morning they still open the notebook. A creator may feel discouraged after a video receives very few views, but a few days later they begin thinking about the next idea. A person building a business may feel tired after a slow month, but they still find themselves imagining ways to improve. That quiet return is often a sign that something still matters. There is another reason why passion sometimes feels heavy. Think about pushing a car that has stopped in the middle of the road. At first, it feels incredibly heavy. The wheels are not moving. Every push feels exhausting. But once the wheels begin to roll, something changes. The car becomes easier to move. Not because the car became lighter, but because motion has started. Many meaningful paths feel the same way. The beginning is often the heaviest part. There is another way to imagine this. Think about looking at traffic on Google Maps. Sometimes the road ahead is red. Everything is slow. Nothing seems to move. But if you zoom out, you might see something interesting. Just a few kilometers ahead, the road turns green. The traffic disappears. The road opens. The only problem is, when we are inside the traffic, we cannot see that green road yet. Life can feel exactly like this. Sometimes we are much closer to the open road than we realize. The Roman philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote something simple. Do what feels honest to your nature. Focus on the work itself and let go of the need to control how the world responds. In other words, walk the path without demanding guarantees. Questioning your passion does not necessarily mean the passion is false. Sometimes it simply means you have reached a stage where dreams become real work. And real work is rarely romantic. It is slow, uncertain, and often quiet. But sometimes the moment that feels the heaviest is simply the moment before the wheels begin to move. Or the last red traffic line before the road turns green. So instead of asking, "Will this succeed?" perhaps ask a gentler question. Does this still matter to me? If the answer is yes, then maybe the path is still worth walking. Slowly, patiently, and one quiet step at a time.
This is White Diary, where we sit quietly with the deeper questions of life.